Gloria Gaither has always stood beside her husband, Bill Gaither, as the soulful heart and poetic voice of gospel music. But today, with a fragile tone and a heart full of emotion, she's saying what feels like a final goodbye. Not just to the stage, but perhaps to her global family of fans as well. Her words carry a heavy sense of closure, leaving many wondering what happened behind the scenes to lead to this emotional farewell. Across the world, admirers of the Gaither legacy are bracing for what might be the most heartbreaking chapter yet in her remarkable journey. For decades, Gloria Gaither has been far more than just the wife of gospel icon Bill Gaither. She has been the spiritual and creative heartbeat behind many of the most enduring songs in Christian music. As co-writer of countless Gaither classics, her poetic insight has shaped hymns that brought comfort, hope, and faith to millions. Her lyrics have spoken to generations, bridging music and ministry in a way few others have achieved. Now, at 82 years old, Gloria has shared a deeply personal message with her fans. One that signals a quiet turning point in her life and career. In a recent video released by the music group, Gloria appeared visibly emotional as she addressed her followers, her voice trembling with sincerity. She began. There comes a time when you feel a gentle tug on your heart, a sense that God is calling you to a quieter season. Though she never directly mentioned the word retirement, her words carried the unmistakable tone of farewell. She hinted that her days of public appearances and large events might be coming to an end as she feels led to embrace a slower, more reflective rhythm of life. Instead, she plans to spend her time surrounded by family, writing, and engaging in personal reflection. A profound shift from the decades of tireless touring and ministry that defined her public life. Long before the world knew her as one of gospel music's greatest lyricists, Gloria Gaither was simply Gloria Sickle. She was born on March 4, 1942 in Michigan into a family deeply rooted in Christian faith and traditional values. Raised in a warm, nurturing environment that valued education, literature, and music, she displayed a natural gift for words and self-expression at a young age. Her love for poetry and storytelling flourished throughout her school years. After high school, she enrolled at Anderson University in Indiana, a small Christian college where she majored in English. There, she refined her intellectual curiosity and deepened her faith, too. Forces that would later shape every lyric she wrote. It was during her time at Anderson that Gloria met a young, passionate music teacher named Bill Gaither. At first, their relationship was professional, two creative minds drawn together by a shared love for teaching and faith. Bill had already formed the Bill Gaither trio with his siblings and was making early strides in gospel music. Yet, their connection soon blossomed into something deeper. In 1962, Gloria and Bill married, beginning a partnership that would transform not just their lives, but the entire landscape of Christian music. Initially, Gloria continued teaching English at Alexandria High School, while Bill focused on music full-time. But it didn't take long for her natural talent for writing to intertwine with his musical genius. Bill composed melodies that carried emotion, and Gloria gave them voice, words that elevated each song into something timeless. Together, they created some of the most beloved hymns of the 20th century. Her breakthrough moment came with the writing of Because He Lives, a song that emerged from one of the most uncertain and painful seasons in their lives. By the late 1960s, the Gaithers were enjoying both professional success and personal fulfillment. They had a growing family and a thriving ministry. Yet, behind their smiles, the world around them was in chaos. The Vietnam War raged on. The civil rights movement was testing the nation's conscience, and traditional faith was being challenged by cultural upheaval. Amid this turbulence, Bill faced exhaustion from the demands of constant touring, while Gloria, pregnant with their third child, battled anxiety about the kind of world they were bringing their baby into. In that storm of uncertainty, Gloria turned to prayer. One quiet day, she felt an overwhelming peace, a reassurance that God still held the future, even when everything seemed unstable. From that sacred stillness came the words to Because He Lives. The song was not born out of comfort but out of fear and faith colliding. It spoke of resilience, trust, and divine hope, and that is precisely why it resonated with millions. When it was released in 1971, Because He Lives quickly became more than a hymn. It became a lifeline for believers navigating hardship across the world. The success of Because He Lives elevated both Bill and Gloria to new heights, but especially Gloria, whose gift for expressing profound truths in simple, heartfelt language became widely celebrated. She was no longer seen merely as the supportive wife of a gospel singer. She emerged as one of Christian music's most respected thinkers and poets. Yet, despite her growing fame, Gloria remained grounded in humility and faith. She continued to write tirelessly songs, devotionals, essays, and books that reflected her deep understanding of life, love, and spirituality. Over the years, Gloria and Bill co-wrote more than 700 songs, many of which became church standards across denominations and continents. What made her lyrics so powerful was their balance of theology and emotion. She didn't write from a distance, she wrote from experience, through motherhood, ministry, heartbreak, and joy. During the 1970s and 1980s, as the gay vocal band rose to prominence and the beloved Homecoming video series began, Gloria's quiet presence was everywhere. She didn't always stand at the microphone, but her words and spirit were woven into every performance, every prayer, and every message of hope that reached audiences. Throughout this era, she became a mentor to younger Christian artists and a sought-after speaker at conferences, particularly those for women. Her calm, introspective demeanor, combined with her intellectual and spiritual depth, made her an admired figure in a male-dominated industry. Her true genius lay not only in her lyrical skill, but in her ability to see the divine within the human experience, to articulate the sacred beauty in life's struggles and victories. As the years unfolded and the Gaia legacy continued to expand, Gloria remained its steady foundation. The Gaither vocal band and Homecoming series became cornerstones of Christian households around the world. Yet through all the fame and accolades, she never lost sight of her calling to use words as a vessel for faith and healing. Now, as she steps away from the public eye, the world reflects on the remarkable woman who transformed from a small-town teacher into one of gospel music's most influential voices. Gloria Gaither's farewell is not just an end. It's a moment of reflection on a life that has inspired millions through song, scripture, and unshakable faith. Her music remains a living legacy, a reminder that even when voices fade, the message of hope they carry can echo for generations. Gloria Gaither's songwriting carried a kind of depth and literary grace that set her apart from many of her peers in gospel music. In a genre often filled with repetition and predictable phrasing, her lyrics stood as something profoundly different, rich with theological meaning, poetic beauty, and raw emotional truth. She had the remarkable ability to take complex spiritual ideas and turn them into deeply personal expressions of faith that ordinary people could sing and feel in their daily lives. Whether someone was walking through seasons of grief, joy, uncertainty, or unwavering belief, Gloria's words had a way of meeting them exactly where they were. One of her most striking contributions was the narrative power she brought to gospel music. She wasn't content to simply write catchy choruses. She told stories. Through her songs, listeners could trace the journey from darkness into light, despair into hope, and even death into resurrection. Each lyric carried a sense of literary weight and purpose. Gloria understood the story of redemption not just as a biblical concept but as a reflection of real human experience, and she transformed that understanding into music that continues to stir hearts to this day. Beyond her musical gifts, Gloria Gaither emerged as a powerful and influential voice for Christian women across generations. During a time when few women held prominent roles in Christian ministry or music, she quietly broke barriers and changed perceptions. She wasn't the type to chase the spotlight with glitter and glamour, nor was she limited to the background role of a supportive pastor's wife. Instead, she stood as an intellectual, a mother, a thinker, and a spiritual leader all at once. Her written works, which include devotionals, reflective essays, and spiritual journals, explored faith intersections with family, culture, and identity. Her honesty about struggle and doubt made her writing deeply relatable. Gloria never claimed to have all the answers, but she always knew how to point her readers back to the one who did. Her words became anchors for women navigating the often unspoken burdens of faith, motherhood, and personal growth. Her legacy also lives through her dedication to education and mentorship. Gloria co-founded the Gaia Family Resources Center and helped establish the Gaia Homecoming Bible, both of which reflected her passion for discipleship and spiritual formation. She used her influence to open doors for emerging gospel artists, especially women, who saw in her not just a gifted songwriter, but a role model of integrity and strength. In a world where fame and image often overshadow substance, Gloria remained rooted in purpose. She once said, "We never set out to be stars. We set out to be faithful." That quiet devotion to faithfulness became the cornerstone of everything she created and believed. Every lyric Gloria ever Wrote was born out of a life genuinely lived. She never sought fame for its own sake. Those who met her often described an almost tangible calm that surrounded her, a quiet strength that reflected years of lived faith and tested wisdom. Her spirituality wasn't performative. It was something she practiced daily, shaped by real-life experiences and challenges. Friends remember her as a deep listener, thoughtful, discerning, and grounded. She wasn't the one to fill silences with idle talk. Instead, she filled them with peace. In moments of tension or crisis, she brought a steady calm. As a wife, Gloria was steadfastly loyal. She and Bill Gaither weathered more than 6 decades of marriage, not only as musical collaborators, but as true partners in life. Together, they navigated the demands of touring, raising 3 children, managing a sprawling ministry, and living under public scrutiny. Through it all, Gloria remained the family's anchor. As a mother, she was nurturing and intentional. Her children remember her presence more than her business. How she would write songs late into the night. After tucking them into bed, take long walks filled with conversation, and teach them that faith wasn't just something to be preached, but to be lived. She instilled in them compassion, honesty, and a sense of responsibility rooted in faith. Her friendships mirrored the same depth. Gloria